Tonight on Cougar News, 3 people are dead and hundreds more in critical conditions following the bombings of the Boston Marathon. Find out how this tragedy is affecting locals at COC.
Plus, dealing with the parking at COC may be a student's worst nightmare, but we tell you why it's not always because of a lack of parking spots.
And playing in the mud isn't just for children. Learn how some adults got down and dirty. Cougar News starts now.
This is Cougar News.
Hello and welcome to Cougar News. I'm Jacob Johnson.
And I'm CJ Schmid. Here's the latest from the Cougar Newsroom. It was supposed to be a day of celebration, a time for many to bask in the glory of accomplishment. But soon that good feeling turned to horror. 2 separate explosions ripped through Boston Marathon runners, spectators, and organizers just feet from the finish line. The blasts killed 3, including an 8-year-old boy, and injured over 100 more. The attack triggered widespread screaming and chaos, shattering windows and barricades in what President Obama called a terrorist attack and vows to punish those responsible. The bombings do have a connection to COC, with Curtis Wynkoop, husband of Photography Department Chair Wendy Wynkoop, and Angela Young Reynolds running in the marathon.
Meantime, adjunct instructor Betsy Kenyon, who was competing in her 3rd Boston race, heard the blast as she walked to her car. She spoke with Cougar News by phone shortly after the attack.
We heard the first explosion, and then we heard the second explosion, and they sounded like they happened right after each other. I mean, it was almost like they were on top of each other. But of course, you don't think it's an explosion. Your brain says, even though it sounds exactly like an explosion, your brain says that it's something like metal. Somebody dropped some metal or something. It's ridiculous. And then it just started to seem crazy because there were all of these police vehicles and other vehicles, and then there were people. I think the way that we were looking for information on the radio, we couldn't find it. And then I started seeing people in their street clothes running, and so then it's like, and then there were sort of intense expressions on people's face when they were on their telephones, and so I started to ask. I rolled my window down and started asking people, and they said that there had been an explosion, right? I can't remember. And one guy had kind of a grim face, and then we found it on the radio. We found it on the AM radio, and you know, I mean, I keep saying the same thing over and over again, but that last wave is a wave full of like moms or older people. The third wave, granted, all these people have actually qualified to run this race, but the third wave, you know, they're the slower runners. So you start to play back in your head like, well, what if I was slower, you know? What if I walked when I felt like walking? Because you always feel like walking. You're like, why am I doing this thing? So I just feel so much for all those people that were there running, right, or watching. It just doesn't, it's just such a pathetic thing to target, you know? And it's interesting because when I was running through Newton, I was thinking to myself, right, I mean, this just shows you the times we live in. God, I could totally see somebody opening fire here because it's like you're running animals, you know? Like, just picking off these runners. And so, yeah, it's just heinous and horrible.
The explosions at the Boston Marathon have many students concerned about the victims of the attacks and their own safety. I went to ask some students about their reaction to the incident.
My first initial reaction was, oh my gosh, there was a terrible accident. After I found out there was 2 explosions, I knew that something was actually terribly wrong.
I guess at first it was just like a bit of shock, a bit of worry too, because I know some of my brother's friends live up there. I know when I was watching the news, they were like, they did the bomb check and then it went off. So it's like people can just get around the security anyway. So it's pretty scary.
Although there are many different ways that students are reacting to the Boston bombings, there is no correct way to react. We sat down with someone who explains more on how to react to these kind of situations.
Common reaction would be people being, more aware hypervigilant. All of a sudden, people become more in tune with their surroundings. And how often do you get concerned when you're in a large group of people and not really something that you think about? But now people will be a little bit more aware and cautious and unfortunately hypervigilant about their surroundings, which in a day-to-day living environment, that's good for daily safety, knowing where you are, but to have to live in fear is not a great thing.
Now we toss it over to Tigran with breaking news.
What's the latest breaking news you have for us this week, Tigran?
Busy day in Santa Clarita, guys, but not necessarily a good busy. A 4-acre brush fire burned near the Angeles National Forest by Agua Dulce. The blaze burned between Soledad and Agua Dulce Canyon roads and was contained. Thankfully, there was no further damage done, though officials say that crews are still on site cleaning up the scene. On December 14, 2012, America experienced one of its worst tragedies in Newtown, Connecticut. With that, along with other acts of terror since that time, gun violence has been on the minds of many. Congress acted by proposing a bill that would expand background checks when purchasing a firearm. However, the bill failed in the Senate, falling 60 votes short of approval and angering the 90% of Americans that demanded new resolutions. Another bill on gun control is in talks of being proposed in the near future. 2 men charged in the alleged beating and abduction of an Agua Dulce woman last fall will be tried in court next month. A 46-year-old Clyde Richards and 47-year-old Colin Foster remain in custody at the Pitches Detention Center with bail set at $2 million each. The two face 4 kidnapping charges, 3 counts of assault, and 2 counts of criminal threats, along with other charges. Santa Clarita Valley detectives are seeking public assistance on identifying a man believed to be responsible for at least 1 burglary. The incident occurred on Friday, April 5th at around 2:20 p.m. in the 27,000 block of Victoria Lane. The suspect gained access to the victim's garage through the back door, but fortunately, he was captured on surveillance video, along with many photographs taking items from inside the garage. But the suspect actually stole the surveillance camera along with other items. That's the latest in breaking news. Get the news as it happens by connecting with us on Facebook and Twitter and searching COC Cougar News. I'm Tigran Martirosyan. Back to you, Jacob.
Thanks, Tigran. This past Monday, a 13-year-old middle school student from the Antelope Valley was found dead after what Sergeant Harry Drucker says is being investigated as a suicide. Nigel Hardy, a middle school cheerleader at Hillview, was being bullied and he was suspended for being involved in a fight. Monday morning, Hardy's father found an apparent suicide note and his handgun missing. Although the note did not threaten any individuals, the school was put on lockdown as a safety precaution. COC students react to the bullying that happens in their own backyard.
And it hits home because I went to that middle school and you wouldn't expect that to escalate it that bad. So it's painful to see.
And it's never a good thing, but personally, when I was in high school, I was in an anti-bullying program. We helped kids deal with it, and we actually advise people to just go and talk to anybody, just a simple, hey.
Authorities are searching for 2 individuals who robbed 4 separate schools in the Santa Clarita Valley. Tigran Martirosyan investigated more into the incidents.
Hart High School was just one of 4 schools in the Santa Clarita Valley that were broken into over spring break by what police believe to be 2 suspects. But it's the only school that was able to catch one of the suspects on surveillance video. KHDS Radio posted the video on their webpage where you can clearly see the suspect transporting items from school grounds. The 3 other schools broken into are Old Orchard and Newhall Elementary and Sierra Vista Middle School.
I'm shocked. I mean, why would people be doing that, Like, this is a public school. People should be, educated with all the high-tech things that they have. I don't know why anybody would want to go in and rob, a public school with the kids, free education. It's just stealing the education from the kids.
For the Hart Union District, the primary concern is the effect the burglars will have on students.
It's really disappointing. This impacts the kids directly, and it's really sad. We have funding issues from the state of California right now, and we have to replace all this equipment, whether it be possibly through insurance, or just with our own funding. It's money that would have gone elsewhere for student programs, and it's really, really disappointing, and it's sad.
As you can see, we're standing outside of Hart High School now, where they lost an estimated $10,000 worth of equipment. And if you have any information regarding 2 suspects, you're urged to call the Santa Clarita Sheriff's Department at 661-255-1121. That's 661-255-1121. For Cougar News, I'm Tigran Martirosyan.
Not sure if those red light ticket cameras are working? Well, they definitely are and are still fully functional. Haley Cook finds out exactly what the community thinks about those red light cameras.
The Santa Clarita Valley implemented the use of 7 red light cameras in 2004. Today, they are still fully functional. Members of the community are somewhat divided when it comes to whether the cameras should remain in use or not.
In the state of California, it was ruled that it's an invasion of privacy when they use the cameras for the red lights, so that they can't actually charge you anything. So, unfortunately, I find them to be pretty much a waste of space, even though they may have started as a deterrent. There's just been too many ways for them to get rid of them or negate the costs. I think, honestly, they should just take them down and use the funding for something else.
I feel like they're very beneficial. The fact that people feel like it invades privacy is complete absurdity to me. Because, I mean, they're not in residential zones. Unless you happen to live next to one of these cameras, I don't think you should fear them. I think, they're keeping track of traffic, how traffic flows.
According to the City of Santa Clarita website, total collisions have decreased by only 18% overall. And if you receive one of those tickets, you could be facing not only a fine of up to $500, but also a point on your driving record.
Well, personally, I don't drive any different because of them. If it's a photo enforced one or not, it's the same to me. I don't think they're very necessary or useful. I don't think, I've never been caught by one. But if it makes some people drive safer, all for it.
I think they should be more clear on the requirements,
update it more.
Yeah.
Make it more.
It makes it more for accident, because when people see those, they just stop. Because I know when I see that it's one of those intersections, instead of I know I can make it and just go through it easily, I slam on my brakes and that can cause an accident right there.
The City of Santa Clarita has no current plans to take down or deactivate any of the red light cameras. So beware, citizens of Santa Clarita, don't run red lights. I'm Haley Cook for Cougar News.
We all know that parking at COC can be a hassle, and some students are expressing their concerns over some of the speeding and parking violations they've noticed that add to their stresses. David Perez has more on the story.
Parking at COC, we've all dealt with it. Waiting at least 15 minutes or up to an hour to find a spot in your class, or having to park near Cougar Stadium at the end of campus. And now that staff parking lot 1 is out of commission due to the building of our new Student Service Administration building, tensions and stakes are higher as students and faculty are trying to snag that parking spot everyone seems to be fighting for. Speeding, blowing through stop signs, or the California roll as some call it, has some COC students worrying about the safety of driving in COC lots or while walking to class.
I've noticed people cutting too through the parking spots too, so yeah, that's pretty dangerous. They should spot these people and they should start giving tickets about it, because I haven't seen anyone that got a ticket on doing speeding or anything. They only get parking tickets.
For me to find parking, I usually just come here and I park down below the bottom parking lot, so it doesn't take me that long. I just come here and find a parking spot. But I have to walk all the way to Elementary because I don't like finding a parking spot up there. It takes forever.
I feel pretty safe. I've never almost hit anyone or been hit or anything, so it doesn't feel that dangerous. I park right near the track. If you come early in the morning, sometimes I'll need to be here early, and then it's really easy, but at the normal times of my classes, it's pretty hard to find spots anywhere else.
Although speed limit signs are not posted on campus parking lots, the campus speed limit is 15 miles per hour according to COC's campus safety webpage.
Make sure that no one's walking and just be careful and watching out for cars and everyone else.
Definitely be paying attention. Don't text while driving in a parking lot, because even though you're going slower, there's a lot more people, so you're probably going to hit someone.
Reporting for Cougar News, I'm David Perez.
Today's world of Facebook, Twitter, and other social outlets surrounds us everywhere. Unfortunately, that includes the negative comments as well as the positive. I asked some students around campus on their thoughts on the effect of social media and their lives.
There's people that got hurt that people care about, and I'm pretty sure there's I don't know how many deaths that happened from it. There's not much you can do but be upset, keep moving forward, try not to put the blame on anyone towards race, see where we can move forward from this.
They'll use it because they think it's funny, but because you don't see a lot of emotion, especially when in your websites, Facebook messaging, texting, somebody says, "Hey, you fat," they could be quoting a line from a movie, they don't quote the movie, a girl who's more sensitive probably than a guy would be at some points, especially in texting and stuff like that, is going to feel super offended.
While some use social media as a way to express negative attitudes, others feel that it can be used in a positive way to benefit society.
You want to make sure that you're being positive. They took out the dislike button from Facebook for a reason, It's just part of normal communication. And if it depends if you're 11 all the way up to like 19, keep that level of communication high.
Arbor Day is a holiday that millions of people from around the world celebrate in an attempt to clean and restore the earth. Every year, the Santa Clarita Valley celebrates this festivity in a very special way. Hundreds of residents from the Santa Clarita Valley joined the fight last weekend to keep the modern world environmentally friendly. The occasion? Central Park's 24th annual Arbor Day Festival. With everything green from energy-efficient cars to informational presentations and recycled art pieces, it was easy to see that the condition of the earth was something on everyone's mind.
Today, me and two other models are modeling recycled fashion. Basically, we're modeling everything that's been used, like the 100-year-old lace, cardboard, paper, and we have a dress made out of CDs, and another made out of forks and spoons, knives.
While many adults and teens shared their compassion and concern for the planet, many children spent the day learning about how important it is to take care of Mother Earth.
I think even a little toddler can go out there with mommy or daddy in their garden and plant vegetables, plant little trees, water them, nurture them, explain what the trees are actually doing for us and why they're so important for us.
In an effort to motivate individuals to contribute their role in planting their fair share of oxygen suppliers, volunteers devoted their day to helping event goers with picking their own trees and bagging their own mulch. All day, people of all ages have been coming to the Arbor Day Festival to plant trees and learn about the environment. I guess you can say that they found common ground. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Jacob Johnson.
Coming up next on Cougar News, whether you know how to pull a rabbit out of your hat or pull a card out of a deck, local magicians can teach you the art of magic.
Plus, find out how the ladies Cougar softball team are doing with the season winding down. Stay tuned.
Art is life. Art is love. Art is patience.
Vincenzo's New Hall offers the best value and great tasting pizza for all of the Santa Clarita Valley. From the freshest toppings and savory sauce to expertly hand-tossed pies, Vincenzo's New Hall offers terrific service, ice-cold drinks, fresh salads, and of course, great tasting handmade pizza. Vincenzo's features Friday night karaoke. Saturday night, it's live bluegrass featuring the Grateful Dudes, and Sunday, the only live local rock and roll. Vincenzo's New Hall invites you to dine in or try their takeout, or let us come to you with our rapid and friendly home delivery. Vincenzo's New Hall, inch for inch, the best pizza in the Santa Clarita Valley.
Students may need a reminder that their life's passion will find them throughout their lifetime. This was the case of a local Santa Clarita artist. Stacy Lewis has more.
She received her master's in painting from Chico State University, but it was at random upon dyeing a quilt one day that Dina Sargent discovered different imagery, leading her to develop a new and unique form of art.
As you're learning and developing your style, you gravitate towards the things that you feel most comfortable with. And she combined her interest in painting, so you see a lot of vibrant color and painterly aspects in the work, with her interest in quilt making and created a really unique art form.
Sargent branched out from fabric painting and began creating dolls.
There's a lot going on in the work. It takes a little bit to digest. You see faces and dogs and different imagery, little characters, and if you look around the room, you'll see those same characters in the dolls. Some of the dolls don't come directly from the paintings. The ones on, we have, I think, 5 over here. They're something called the Spine series. And they were all inspired by other issues. The dolls can be a little disturbing. If you look at the dolls, you might see things that might seem a little spooky. There's one that's a pregnant woman, and there's a little bubble with a fetus in it. So, I mean, that could be a little spooky. But in general, it's been very positive, very well received.
Hearst believes that all artists find their own path, but what he finds really important may not be advice meant exclusively for the art student.
What's really important is to be true to yourself. Don't be co-opted by other people's ideas of who you should be.
Hearst's final message is to not be afraid of what draws you, and Sargent and her work are perfect examples of this message. For Cougar News, I'm Stacy Lewis.
It was a night of sharing international stories and experiences during the free movie screening in Hasley Hall. Girl Rising examines the lives of 9 girls from 9 different countries and highlights their struggle against child labor, arranged marriages, prostitution, and tradition in an attempt to realize their dream of acquiring an education.
Globally fighting for education. It's a series of vignettes in which the actual students perform in these vignettes, and there's voiceovers by well-known writers and actors from their countries. And it's important for an institution like College of the Canyons to address this idea of education and how it's not always as easy as it is for us in this country.
The women that I grew up around grew in much different circumstances than these girls. In fact, education was extremely pushed where I come from my family. So to see these girls and what they had to go through, to experience the things and get the education that we have now, I think is really important. When I was younger, my grandfather used to tell me that a woman raises an entire generation. So imagine an educated woman.
One of the largest branches of magic is located right here in Santa Clarita. Ring 280 of the Mark Wilson Ring provides an opportunity for magicians of all skill levels to learn the art. Kyle Gafori went to their last meeting and got us the inside scoop.
Of course, it's on TV, but very few people get to see live magic.
The Boys and Girls Club of Newhall Park hosted the California chapter of the International Brotherhood of Magicians Thursday. Ring 280, the Mark Wilson Ring.
We're here in Santa Clarita Valley, and we've been in existence for, probably 14 years now. And basically, this is an international organization, and it's, like I say, the name states what it is. It's a group of magicians. The organization was started in the early 20s of the last century, and it's grown into really a phenomenon.
Magic doesn't only give its audience a great show, but can also provide a much more meaningful feeling than only entertainment.
It brings joy to a lot of people, and it brings hope as well. When you're performing magic for people who are ill and who are disabled, people can see a magician get out of difficult situations, and they can relate to their own lives.
The Mark Wilson Ring also reaches out to the community with multiple fundraisers and events.
The city teams up with the Boys and Girls Club and does a Day for Kids. You've probably heard of it. We have Mother's Day, you have Father's Day. Well, there's a Day for Kids, and it's here in Newhall Park, and everything is free. Anyone that shows up, there's no charge. There's food and activities, and we always have a booth. We've done that for 4 or 5 years, where we just perform magic non-stop. And there's probably 8 or 9 magicians in the booth doing magic for different people. Some 3,000-4,000 people that show up. So it's a lot of fun.
Doesn't matter your experience level. If you enjoy magic or just have an interest in magic, come here the second Thursday and Saturday of every month here at Newhall Park, Boys and Girls Club. Who knows, you might even become the new Houdini. For Cougar News, I'm Kyle Gafori.
For more information, you can check out Ring 280's website at www.ibmring280.com.
The echo of the spring break parties are still ringing in the ears of some, and the 8th annual Paid Dues Festival reminds us of just how fun it was this year. Moshe Milan takes us backstage for all of the exclusive action.
Spring break was supercharged at the 8th annual Paid Dues Festival as Sunspot Jones and Boak of the Skywalkers, one of many artists to bless the sold-out Paid Dues crowd, get the party started. We caught up with the founder of this epic event for a few words.
Right now, Paid Dues backstage 2013. Got my little brother Merce.
What up, though? I just came to get this Skywalkers, man. As soon as I saw this on Instagram, I knew I had to book it. They didn't even have an album done. But I was like, I want to be the first person to book the Skywalkers.
Backstage in Trailerland was quiet early, but was soon to be packed by the likes of the Skywalkers, Jean Grey, Nipsey Hussle, Juicy J, Hopsin. Even the ladies represented.
Hey, what's up? It's Mona Lisa. We're here chilling at Paid Dues.
Along with some old school favorites and some new players like the Black and Yellow Man himself.
What up? It's your boy Wiz Khalifa, man. Reppin' Taylor Gang, kicking it out here at Paid Dues. Shout out to Blackstone Studios, man.
And the all gold everything phenom, Trinidad James. I even had time to visit with some backstage visitors and a few friends of the artists.
Okay, we're back here at Paid Dues talking about the Mobilite wireless reader.
What up, though? Lucky, barely got in. I wasn't of age. I had to pull out a fake ID to get in here. What's up, Paid Dues 2013?
Overall, the day was long. Lots of fun. Paid Dues staff. Cougar News. I'm Moshe Milan. Wish you here.
The popular Korean singer Psy has gone viral yet again, this time with a force. The singer has made a new song titled Gentleman. The video was posted on YouTube earlier this week and gained over 120 million views in the span of 4 days. Psy currently holds the record for the most views for one video on YouTube with his hit song Gangnam Style and is on track for beating his own record. Now we toss it over to Moshe for the latest in tech news.
What latest tech news do you have for us this week?
What happens in Vegas doesn't always stay in Vegas. The NAB convention was the hottest ticket in town this weekend. Let me take you on a trip through the media playground and the many toys it has to offer. Las Vegas is known for the bright lights and the big shows, and this weekend it was host to the largest media convention on the West Coast, the National Broadcasters Convention. We're here at the NAB conference, and as you can see, we're having a great time. I want to take you around and show you a little bit of this convention, the gear, the software, everything that they have to offer. For everybody back in LA that loves the media, this is where you need to be. IBM, Canon, GoPro Hero, Nikon, Atmos, and VSN were just a few of the many that were showcasing at the show. It's all about the gear and software for most, but there was also a chance for media professionals to land their dream career.
We are the NAB's Education Foundation, and we're responsible for the career fair that you're attending right now. We do this in addition to a number of other initiatives each year to attract interested individuals to the broadcasting industry and to keep them there.
Well, I'm graduating in May, so I'm looking to find a job come May, and I want to be a reporter or anchor or photojournalist. So I'm pretty much here networking, handing out resumes, handing out reels, talking to recruiters, trying to look for jobs and see what's out there in the market.
For you camera enthusiasts, Red was introducing the new Red Dragon, and Blackmagic was the talk of the show with their new 4K production camera for under $4,000. Check out the Blackmagic 3.995. Forget a 5D or even a Red. I can get 4K for under 4K. This is Moshe here at the NAB convention, and as you can see, there's lots of stuff going on. I got GoPro in the back of me. We saw Sony, we saw Canon, we saw Red, we saw Blackmagic, we saw a lot of things. We're having a great time out here in Las Vegas, and I wish you can be here. For all the media professionals back home, Make sure you come out next year. NAB Convention, Las Vegas, Nevada. This is Moshe Milan for CougarNews.com. I'll see you next time. Hailing the cab in New York, you might need a strong whistle. Hailing the cab in Las Vegas this time of the year, you may need a bullhorn because these cabbies are protesting and on strike. I was on the scene where it was loud and emotions were high. As I walked to the entrance of the NAB at Las Vegas Convention Center, I walked right into the middle of a full-on strike.
Other options, use other means of transportation. Justice! We need justice! When there's justice! We need justice! Driver, what do you want? Justice! What do you want? Justice! What do you want? Justice!
I stopped a few people and asked them what was going on.
No, because this is strike. 32 days. This Las Vegas. Two company. Yellow Checker starting the fries. No right. So everybody go out. 3 days. Tomorrow it's gonna be better. I don't know.
We're on strike because the union has failed to even be willing to negotiate with us. They're paying us less than minimum wage. They require 12-hour shifts up to 6 days a week. So they're taking unfair advantage of a large immigrant population and all the other drivers as well. And they're paying just unfair wages. They won't negotiate. We've been out on strike for 5 weeks now, and the company is just completely unwilling to negotiate.
Picket signs and protesters, police escorts and organizers, supporters and bystanders, and me, with my camera, in front of the biggest media community gathering to come to Las Vegas. I could not have planned this story if I was paid to write it. As you can see, the protesters are still going strong. They want their rights, they want some fair treatment. Here in Las Vegas, Moshe Milan for CougarNews.com. For all of your technology news, visit us on the web at CougarNews.com or our YouTube page at COC Cougar News. I'm Moshe Milan. Back to you at the anchor desk, Jacob.
Thanks, Moshe. The SCV resident Dominica Valentina has been inspiring girls around the world through her motivation blog titled Smart Girl World. Jacqueline Sepulveda got a closer look at what it takes to become a smart girl.
COC student Dominica Valentina has created a motivational website for girls called Smart Girl World.
Basically, when I was 15 years old, my mom got me a ring, and she always told me that whatever you think about and whatever you dream about in life, you can attract into your life, and if you work hard for it, you'll achieve it. So she got me a ring, and it was basically, she called it my Smart Girl ring.
The story behind the blog's title inspired so many that she decided to expand her mother's idea of a Smart Girl ring and create an inspirational business and website for girls.
Instagram is huge. They'll tag me in a picture on purpose so I see it, and then I have all these other girls doing the same thing, and it's copies. Every girl does it, and it gets bigger and bigger without me even trying. You girls do it all. I just sit back.
Dominica has been able to touch hearts not only in the SCV but all across the world through her new use of video blogging.
I reached out to girls in London and Canada and stuff that I would have never talked to if I didn't get on YouTube and stuff, and my following from there skyrocketed because girls when you're reading something, it's cool, but when you're seeing the girl and you're really talking to the girl and you can really understand her vibe, it's more of a connection.
For more information, visit www.smartgirlworld.com. Reporting for Cougar News, I'm Jacqueline Sepulveda.
The College of the Canyons Star Party is back. The Dean of COC's Canyon Country Campus has invited you to its next Star Party. Canyon Country Campus holds 2 Star Parties a year at the Rasmussen Amphitheater. Parking is always free, and the casual event will have hands-on science exhibits, demonstrations, and even a presentation by Dr. Gerard Van Bell, who's an astronomer at Lowell Observatory. The event will be held on May 3rd from 7:30 to 10 p.m.
For more information about the event, read our preview story on CougarNews.com. If you missed COC's Speaker Symposium in Boykin Hall last night, a presentation was given about why rocks and their fossil content are vastly different between the southern part and northern part of the Santa Clarita Valley. Cougar News was there to speak with Dr. Richard Squires, who gave the presentation.
The Mathematics, Science, and Engineering Division continued their second annual Speaker Symposium Series Tuesday, featuring a free presentation by Dr. Richard Squires from California State University, Northridge. The presentation, titled Fossil Treasures of the Santa Clarita Valley, featured the very different geological histories in the SCV between the Eastern Ventura Basin and the Soledad Basin.
There are probably more geologists visit this area than anywhere else in the world. And I think a lot of the geologists are so busy with their own areas they don't have time to really think about it. So it's kind of exciting to know that you can expand your horizons in your backyard and just walk around and learn. I encourage other geologists to do that too. That's what I started doing. There wasn't any book on it. I just started hiking and thinking. Never give up your passion. If you enjoy it, do it. Keep that inquiring mind. No matter the obstacle, no matter the requirements of all the classes you have to take and all that, just do it cheerfully and willfully. Acquire all the knowledge you can because you never know what you're going to be able to use.
Reporting for Cougar News, I'm David Perez.
Still to come on Cougar News, find out how sports and wine are a good mix.
Plus, we give you all the latest updates on the Cougar sports teams. Stay tuned. How can playing golf and drinking wine help a good cause? One single group is taking a swing at a solution. Carlos Ravello tells us how.
Most people would describe an ideal vacation playing a round of golf, having delicious dinner, and drinking a glass of wine. A local organization found a way to combine all those elements and do it for a good cause. Single Mothers Outreach is an organization founded to help out single parents and their children. Fool's Paradise Golf Tournament and wine tasting has become one of the biggest fundraisers for Single Mothers Outreach.
Initially, holding a golf tournament was just primarily to raise money for our programs and services. But we realized that the men that came to these were often really moved by the stories of the families that we serve. And it was an opportunity for them to really show their support for the work that we were doing. And the golfers have been exceedingly generous.
We came out here is kind of a good reason for us to get out and play a little bit of golf and help support a good cause. I'm out here with my dad, family friend, and then also my cousin's husband. And so it's kind of a good reason for us to get together and do some manly stuff and play golf.
The organization has fundraisers for programs like financial literacy and technology training. The Single Mothers Outreach offers childcare for the parents so they can attend to the programs. The participants who bought into the event were provided with food, a round of golf, and wine tasting. The event was capped off with an award presentation, a raffle, and a silent auction. For Cougar News, I'm Carlos Ravello.
Being covered in dirt and mud doesn't sound like a good time, but this past Sunday was an exception. Oscar Rogel was at the Castaic Mud Run as over 4,000 participated in getting down and dirty.
On April the 14th, the nationwide tour of the 2013 Merrill Down and Dirty Mud Run kicked off at Castaic Lake. This event featured a 10K run and a 5K run, in which thousands of participants from all around the country went through many tough obstacles.
We have up to 20 obstacles on our course. A huge part of our event is our charity partnership with Operation Gratitude, and they send care packages to military men and women overseas and to their families left back home. So far, we've raised over $10,000 just with the LA city, and we'll be going on and continuing this fundraiser through the rest of our tour. So we have 10 more cities to go to from now until October.
The crowd's really alive and yelling, pushing you. It's a great event, harder than I thought it was going to be.
We do a huge incline, and the first 3 miles are pretty brutal. And it's kind of like life. If you get through the hardest part, it's downhill, and the downhill was beautiful.
I've done this 4 years, so it's my second time.
Well, in the beginning, I was going to try and compete, but now I'm just here to have fun because I don't have the cardio that I thought I had to tell you the truth.
I'm nervous about the mud and the cold lake water.
Okay.
I'm not nervous about the obstacles or running. Yeah, I turned 40 this year, so this is doing something crazy to mark that.
Luis was our first finisher of the entire, not just age division, he was the first person to cross the finish line. Congratulations.
If they like the event, I mean, if they enjoy running, do it with passion, you know? Because running not only makes me happy, it reduces the stress. I like it a lot. Releases your mind from everything else. That's how I see it.
For more information about this event and results, visit downanddirtymudrun.com. Reporting here from Castaic Lake, I am Oscar Rogel for Cougar News.
Now it's time for sports with Kyle Gaffori.
What's going on in the sports world of Santa Clarita, Kyle?
Thanks, guys. One of the largest youth track meets ran into Santa Clarita this past weekend. The 4th annual Co-Ed Conference Invitational between the Southern California Youth Track and Field Conference and the Ventura County Youth Track Conference took place this past weekend. From ages 9 to 16, over 1,900 athletes competed in a variety of events. The 2-day event at Cougar Stadium ranged from events such as the 100-meter dash, longer races, to hurdles, and even 3 different field events, including the long jump. During spring break, Valencia's high school's sports medicine program held a unique fundraiser to raise money for the school's career path program. James Frank has more on the event.
Valencia High School's gym was transformed into a wrestling arena. Why, you ask? To help raise money for sports medicine.
My name is Joe Monteleone. I am the program director here at Valencia High School for sports medicine. We are having professional wrestling in the Santa Clarita Valley. It's going to be an amazing show. It's a fundraiser for the sports medicine program to raise money for supplies and upcoming competitions. We have a state competition here in California, and we're also flying up to Washington State for their sports medicine competition. We never had professional wrestling up here in Santa Clarita Valley, and I think this is a good way to introduce it. It's something different. Sports medicine is one of those career paths to get students ready for the next level in their career or a step ahead in college. If this is a successful night, which we hope it is, that we plan on having these guys back next year, we'll do this again.
With Cougar News, I'm James Frank.
High school baseball is underway as Friday the West Ranch Wildcats hosted the Canyon Cowboys in a Foothill League matchup. With both teams at 4-2, they're in the midst of a 4-way tie atop the league standings. Looks like we got ourselves a ball game. Bottom of the 4th, West Ranch Jagger Rusconi up at bat, scored tied at 2s, and got him. The solo shot puts the Wildcats up 3-2. This game was all West Ranch as they wore down Canyons pitcher Max Weinstein and his defense as the Cowboys recorded 5 errors just like this one on the day. Weinstein didn't help himself out though, as he also gave up 7 earned runs, with the West Ranch getting the big win 10-3, putting them atop the Foothill League standings for now. The COC's women's softball team is out on a mission. They are currently undefeated in conference and are having some fun while doing it. I was able to catch up with the team and see what their secret to success is. COC's women's softball team has had an unbelievable season, currently undefeated in the Western State Conference. With 3 games left, this team knows how to stay balanced with hard work and having fun as they seek back-to-back conference championships.
You got to have a fun time when you're out here. The girls, you know, you can push them and this and that and the other, but if you push them too hard, you sometimes, I think, in my mind, that you can possibly go the opposite way with them. For those girls to buy into the program, I think they got to buy into when I talk to them, that I get as fired up just like they are. We're a team. I'm part of that team.
Alongside hard work and having fun, this team relies on a strong bond formed throughout the season.
Especially like when your team is winning, like you're having a good time when you're doing it. Even if your team is losing, like they're to like pick you up, and like if you, like say like I'm having a bad day, I know that someone on my team is gonna pick me up, and if someone else is having a bad day, like I'm gonna pick them up. So I think like we all work together, and I think that'll help us be successful.
With playoffs approaching, preseason goals are coming alive for this team as they strive for perfection.
Our main goals were to be undefeated and go to state. And so far we're on track and we're doing really good at that. So it's going to help us a lot. It's going to boost our confidence, and we're just going to be on a streak, and we're just going to be, I think, ready to go for state.
COC travels to conference opponent Santa Monica tomorrow for a doubleheader. Let's go Cougars. Staying fit doesn't have an age limit. Velocity Sports offers sessions for children to stay active and enjoy participating in physical activity. Travis Wade has more.
Velocity Sports Performance in Valencia kicked off their first annual spring break games on Monday morning. Kids from all over the valley won't be sleeping in this vacation. Instead, they arrive at Velocity at 9:30 a.m. for check-in. Surprisingly, many of them actually wanted to be here.
I'm having fun. We have to lift these balls, run. It's fun. I told my mom about it, and she's fine with it. I love sports.
Most of these children are working hard to prepare for the different sports that they play.
I play baseball, and I think it's really helping me because you steal a lot of bases, get faster. Yeah, I play baseball, basketball, and football.
The coaches here at Velocity work hard to train these kids to perform better and to also use proper fundamentals.
Well, we just did a bunch of gymnastics work. It really helps with body control. We're definitely developing their upper body strength. We did some handstands over there, and that's working on their kinesthetic awareness. Right now, we're going to work on sprinting technique and top-end speed, what we call it max velocity here at Velocity. So basically teaching them how to run a 40. At the end of the day, we kind of just give them a bunch of challenges, and they're meant to be fun, but they are getting a lot of benefit out of it.
These kids are a reminder that there are indeed productive ways to spend your spring break. For Cougar News, I'm Travis Wade.
That's all the news and sports this week. Back to you, Jacob.
Food, food, and more food. That's what many attendees of this month's Truck Invasion enjoyed. Members of the West Ranch High School football team put their monthly fundraising event to raise money. Several food trucks, varying in lunch eats to desserts, are donating 5 to 10% of their profits. The football team is raising money for the much-needed equipment and hopes that the monthly events will be enough to cover the season costs. The next food truck event will be held during the first week of May.
We really have to raise money in order to buy new uniforms and replace our equipment and pay for partial of our buses and to make sure that these boys have a viable, strong program.
The long summer days are coming, and the cravings for a frozen treat to cool down are starting to grow. Yasmin Ruzba was at the grand opening of the newest ice cream shop that is one of a kind.
A new store has popped up in Santa Clarita with its sights set on cooling your taste buds. With summer just around the corner, Rita's promises to soothe your appetite with an icy treat.
We have our signature Italian ice, which comes in fruit flavors as well as cream ice flavors. And then we have our old-fashioned custard, which is like a soft serve ice cream. It's just richer, it's creamier and smoother, which makes it tastier.
For store owners Taryn Bulko and Romina Faramarzi, Rita's fills the void in Santa Clarita when it comes to having a variety in ice cream.
So it's definitely different than what Santa Clarita is used to. Here you have your Dairy Queen, your Baskin Robbins. We do this as Italian ice, so it's actually healthier than like an ice cream would be, and nobody has it on the West Coast at all.
The franchise offers various flavors such as mint chocolate chip and cotton candy, just to name a few. With an additional 60 flavors, you'll never leave unsatisfied.
I heard about it through advertisements and word of mouth. One of my friends was telling me about it, telling me about the shaved ice, and I thought, okay, sounds cool. So came here, tried it one day when it opened, and I got the mango Italian ice. It was very tasty.
Rita's plans on expanding their frozen treat business.
This partner and I have signed on to do 5 locations here in Santa Clarita within the next few years. And 3 of which will also be mobile units. So we'll have a food truck, a food cart, and a food trailer.
Make sure you check out Rita's Ice Cream on the corner of Bouquet and Seco Canyon. For Cougar News, I'm Yasmin Rusba.
That's it for this edition of Cougar News. I'm CJ Schmid. Remember, you can always catch us online at cougarnews.com.
And I'm Jacob Johnson. You can also send us news tips and story ideas at cougarnews@canyons.edu. Have a good night.